Aglaea and Garment Maker take the center stage in Honkai Star Rail, and they're ready to show the world what Remembrance units are capable of. But there's a very big catch. How to Aglaea. Aglaea is our first limited edition 5-star Remembrance Lightning unit. Try saying that 5 times fast. And she will be the first Remembrance DPS if we just pretend Jing Yuan is in this weird half-half state, being erudition, but also being able to summon. Anyways, her kits. So what does her kit do? So I'll divide this kind of in a weird way. So I'll first talk over Aglaea, and then I'll talk over Garment Maker. You'll understand why shortly, but let's just go over Aglaea's stuff first. So Aglaea's skill will restore 50% of Garment Maker's max HP, and if Garment Maker is absent, the skill will summon it and have it take action immediately. Her technique, Aglaea's technique summons Garment Maker and causes them to attack forward. When doing this and causing you to enter battle, the technique will regenerate 30 energy and deal lightning damage equal to 100% of Aglaea's attack to all enemies and randomly inflict the seam stitch on one of the enemies. For her summoning, when Garment Maker is summoned, it is action advanced by 100%, and when Garment Maker leaves the field, i.e. being defeated, it will regenerate 20 energy for Aglaea. So that's essentially the whole of Aglaea's kit. By herself, she really doesn't do much. It's essentially her and Garment Maker that work in unison to deal all the damage. So for her talent, the Memo Sprite named Garment Maker, which I've previously said, has an initial speed of 35% of Aglaea's speed and HP equal to 66% of Aglaea's HP plus an additional 720. While Garment Maker is on the field, Aglaea's attack inflict the Seam Stitch effect on the enemies, and when these enemies are attacked, the Seam Stitch effect will deal additional lightning damage equal to 30% of Aglaea's attack. Keep in mind that the speed and HP stats that Garment Maker receives are from Aglaea outside of combat. So if you receive any external buffs from teammates, relic sets, planar sets, those will not affect Garment Maker's speed. It's just her base speed, so keep that in mind. For the Memo Sprite's talents, after Garment Maker attacks an enemy with the Seam Stitch effect, increase its speed by 55, stacking up to 6 times. Also, during Garment Maker's turn, Thorn Snare is automatically used, prioritizing enemies with the Seam Stitch effect. So you want to make sure you always hit enemies marked by the Seam Stitch. It's a little purple icon under the health bar. Make sure you target them on Aglaea, on Garment Maker. Just make sure that is your main priority because that is where most of your damage will come from. So for Garment Maker's skill, Thorn Snare will deal lightning damage equal to 110% attack to one enemy and 66% to adjacent enemies. And now for the ultimates, summon Garment Maker if they're not on the field, and if Garment Maker is on the field, restore its HP to max. This also makes Aglaea enter the Supreme Stand state and immediately takes action. When in the Supreme Stand state, Aglaea gains the speed boost from Garment Maker's talents, with each attack increasing her speed by 15%. This also enhances her basic attack, but keep in mind that you won't be able to use her skill. You'll strictly be locked into doing basic attacks. Finally, Garment Maker becomes immune to crowd control debuffs. One last note, this is like Firefly's ult where it ends after a certain amount of turns have passed. However, big however, it can be reset unlike Firefly's ultimate. And you reset it by using your ultimate again. So having teammates that can give a lot of energy, especially energy percent, are going to be massive for her. And keep in mind, this is going to play a very big role on how useful she is. But I'll elaborate more on that near the end. And once this timer does end, let's say you don't get her ultimate back to reset it. Once the timer ends, Garment Maker will leave the field and the Supreme Stance will end. And during the enhanced basic attack, Aglaea and Garment Maker launch something called a joint attack, which is a new mechanic, and they will both deal lightning damage equal to 200% of their attack and hit adjacent targets for 90% of their attack. This enhanced basic attack does not recover skill points. Keep in mind also that this new joint attack can double trigger a lot of things that you can proc. So whenever you hit an enemy, Robin does a follow-up attack of like physical damage. It's not much, but with the joint attack, that Robin damage will be basically triggered twice. For her traces, her A1, while in the Supreme Stance state, increase Aglaea and Garment Maker's attack by an amount equal to 720% of Aglaea's speed, plus 360% of Garment Maker's speed. For her A2, when Garment Maker disappears, one stack of the speed boost from the Memo Sprite's talent can be retained, and when Garment Maker is summoned again, gain the corresponding number of speed boost stacks. So essentially, Garment Maker will start with one stack instead of two. Her A3, at the start of battle, if Aglaea's energy is lower than 50%, then it will regenerate to 50% automatically. Pretty good to reserve and build your energy from there. Her trace bonus, 22.4% lightning damage, 12% crit rate, and 12.5% defense for some reason. I'm not sure. Anyways, so for my big spenders, my very, very, very big spenders, her Eidolons. Her E1, enemies with the Seam Stitch effect take 15% more damage, and after Aglaea or Garment Maker attack the Seam Stitch target, Aglaea regenerates 20 energy. This is a really solid Eidolon. It solves a lot of her energy issues, especially when it comes to her team building. As you'll see later, her teams are going to like make or break this unit. But anyways, her E2, when Aglaea or Garment Maker take action, they will ignore 14% of the target's defense. This can stack up to 3 times and last until any other character besides Aglaea or Garment Maker uses any ability. Her E4, the speed boost effect from the Memo Sprite's talent is increased by 1, and after Aglaea uses an attack, Garment Maker will also gain the speed boost effect. Again, her E3 and E5 raises skill, talent, basic attack levels. And finally, her E6, while in the Supreme Stance state, increase both Aglaea's and Garment Maker's lightning res pen by 20% when Aglaea or Garment Maker's speed is greater than 160, 240, or 320. The damage dealt by the joint attack is increased respectively by 10%, 30%, and 60%. For her relic sets, the 4-piece Hero of Triumphant Song is her best in slots. However, you can go 2-piece Musketeer, 2-piece Sizzling Thunder, or if you maybe want to build a little bit more speed to break some of those thresholds, 2-piece Acertos, Hackerspace. Do keep in mind that the 4-piece Hero of Triumphant Song is her best in slots, so I would very, very heavily recommend that. Unless you're some crazy president that does 1 cycles and does some crazy speed tuning and craziness, you'll do 2 pieces, but 4-piece is definitely the best way to go. For planar sets, I would recommend the Wondrous Banana Amusement Park. Try saying that 5 times fast. That's going to be hard. The Wondrous Banana Amusement Park, Wondrous Banana, blah, 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 blah. Retaliant Arena is super solid, and Firmament Frontline Glamoth are your options. All 3 of these sets are super solid options, and there isn't too much of a drastic change from what I've seen. So I'd say just go with the one you have the best subsets on. Again, that's just gonna depend person to person. So don't worry too much if you have one set over the other. For her main stats, you're gonna want a crit rate, crit damage body, speed / attack boots, a lightning damage sphere, and an energy recharge rate rope. Keep in mind this rope cannot change and will not change even if you have her E1. Aglaea's energy cost is extremely high. Like I don't think I can emphasize how high it is. So you will always need this no matter what. For her substats, I would focus crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and finally speed. Now for her light cones, time woven into gold increases the wearer's base speed by 12. After the wearer and Memo Sprite's attack, the wearer gains 1 stack of Brocade? I'm not sure how to say that word actually. Each stack of this increases both the wearer's and Memo Sprite's crit damage by 9% up to 6 times. Also, when reaching all 6 of these stacks, each stack will increase basic attack damage by 9%. Again, super solid, no surprise here, this is her best in slot. Designed and tailored specifically for her. Tailored, good word there. You know, she stitches things together. You know, W me. But Sweat Now, Cry Less is a super solid option. It is in the Battle Pass, so it is a little bit behind of a paywall, but it'll be a super solid 4-star option. And we actually have a 3-star option, Reminiscence, and these are all super solid. Again, we don't have too many Remembrance light cones. It is still a fairly new path. However, any of these 3 options should be super solid and should help your Aglaea hit for big, big numbers. So now the team section, and this is what makes or breaks Aglaea. So her best teammate by far is Sunday. If you have Sunday, you automatically win. If you didn't pull for Sunday, you automatically lose. And there are other options here that you can substitute in, right? You can do Robin, super, super strong unit. You can do Remembrance MC. Remembrance MC, Robin, definitely work. Branya, you can throw in Branya. Ting Yun, she gives energy. She doesn't action advance, but she gives energy. However, if you do not have Sunday, I would highly, highly, highly suggest not pulling for this unit. And the reason is because the amount of energy Sunday regenerates by himself is enough to keep Aglaea's ultimate basically up full time. Sunday is an absolute unit. We all knew that he was going to be the best Remembrance support. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that he is her best in slot. So yeah, if you don't have Sunday, I would highly advise maybe not pulling for her unless you really, really like the character. But in my personal opinion, no Sunday means no Aglaea. And we don't know when we're going to get a Sunday rerun. So I would just hold off for now. Just wait and see. Maybe they'll throw in a surprise Sunday. We don't know. We don't know how these banners are going to work. But yes, Sunday is her absolute best in slot. Number one recommendation. Followed by Robin, Remembrance MC, Branya Works, Tingyu. If you have Woho, you win. You automatically win. If you have Sunday and Woho, you automatically just win. Again, Woho's making a big comeback here, especially with the amount of energy she provides, right? She gives energy percent, she can run quote unquote pro. There's just so much that Woho can do for this team, and she gives attack buffs, right? So she just is phenomenal for this team. Gallagher is a super solid option. He can regenerate a lot of skill points. Super good unit. However, without the break effects buffers around him, I'm not sure how well he would compare to any other abundance or preservation unit. But if I had to recommend you just two units, it would be Sunday and Ho-Ho. These two units will make or break your Aglaea. Two units that give a lot of energy. These two units can literally sustain her alone with energy. And with Sunday being skill point neutral or skill point positive if you have his light cone, the amount of ultimates you will be getting off on Sunday is actually ridiculous. When I run Sunday Ho-Ho on any other team, I have my Sunday ult maybe every second time he comes back around. It's ridiculous. So this is kind of what I want to get into here a little bit. Now that we're going into the ending of this video. If you have Sunday and Ho-Ho, her pull value is a 4 out of 5 Ho-Hos. I think she's solid. She's phenomenal. Does a lot of damage. Her ult can be 100% uptime if you play right, if you get lucky with RNG. However, if you don't have Sunday, if you don't have Ho-Ho, if you don't have Robin, I would say her pull value drops to 2 Ho-Ho out of 5 Ho-Hos. She just will not work very well with some of these other units. You can run her, again, like I said, with Tingyun, with Branya, with Remembrance MC. However, Sunday is king here. Sunday says who's going to work and who's not. And if you have maybe one or the other, I would do 3 Ho-Hos out of 5 if I had to give it a rating. But again, this is a very interesting unit. It's very situational, honestly. I feel like there's not many units that give energy. But yeah, Aglaea situation is very difficult. I don't think I've ever seen a unit that's kind of such a drastic change in pull value depending on certain units that you have. So again, keep an eye out. Remember, Sunday's king here. If you have Sunday, you're gonna more than likely enjoy playing Aglaea, and if you don't, you're gonna have to wait 300 years to get your ultimate back. And by that time's over, then the MOC cycle is gonna be over, and the next MOC is gonna be here. So again, Sunday is king. But thank you again, everyone, for watching another how-to video. I'll put the rankings here of the Ho-Hos she gets. So I'll put 3 separate Ho-Ho ratings here, just so everyone knows what's happening. But yeah, super fun making this video. This wasn't as much research as I thought it was gonna be. I felt like her kit was pretty simple, pretty fair to understand. The Hertz definitely gave me more of a headache. This one was longer, like the script was longer, but definitely not as intense as the hurt does. You know, she's my enemy forever. But again, thank you everyone for watching. Have a wonderful day. Trolls don't get blocked. And HoYoverse, you should have picked me to win the 500k Stellar Jades. I will never forgive you for this, and I am out to get vengeance. So sleep with your eyes open, HoYoverse.